About improvisation. This is how we're going to do our midterm exam. These are examples of how we're going to do it. Okay, so I would pay attention in this part. How to improvise correctly. Okay, so the first, we have 10 rules to improvisation. Improvisation means when you act, you have no script, you have no rules. The only thing you do is you make it up yourself. Okay? When we do improvisation, we usually give you a character and a scene. And that's it. And you do whatever you want in that scene. Okay? So I'm going to show you an example of improvisation here. This is a humorous one. This person, the only thing he has is a lottery ticket in his hand. He won the lottery, and that's all he's told. You win the lottery. That's it. So he needs to make up everything after that. Him and his partner. Okay? So we have the scene.
I used to know how to build. Sure. You know what? I really gotta thank you because if it wasn't for your knowledge, I would have lost it. Thank you. So then, what's up? Give me a piece. My ticket. $5. But I have those numbers. But how did you borrow it? And I gave it back to you. Now you have a lot more. And I'll give you another $1. What? Another $1. Come on, dude, we're done together. You don't even have $1 now. You gotta think about a which, have a free sandwich. Hey, which? Yeah. It's good for one. After you might take more, of course.
Okay, so in this scene, the only thing that he had in his pocket, his only instructions were, you won the lottery. That's it. You had to make up everything after that. So it first starts to become a humorous scene. They're both jumping and laughing and having a good time. And then after, it gets a little serious. She gave him some money to buy the lottery ticket. He had no money, and she gave him some money, and he bought it, and he won. So she says, hey, why don't you give me some money? I helped you. I gave you money to buy the ticket. And then he says, no, my ticket, my numbers, I won. Maybe I'll give you $2, but that's it. So then it gets a little more serious and maybe a little more confrontational. Okay? So when we are doing improvisation, there are 10 rules to follow. First rule we have is say yes. And what that means is, if your partner asks you something, if your partner is doing something in the scene, just go along. Say yes. Keep going. Do not stop the scene. Okay? So for example, she tells him, oh, I gave you money for the ticket. Instead of saying, no you didn't, just say, oh yeah, you did. So what? Then she says, oh, maybe you should give me some money. Just keep the scene going. Just say yes, yes, and keep the scene going. So to do that, you need to know who the people are in your scene. You need to know the characters. You need to know what's going on. So here, Our scene is winning the lottery. That's what's going on. And where? Where is this happening? So maybe this is at a restaurant. Maybe this is at school. Whatever. Okay, so you need to be aware of who, what, and where, and just say yes to keep the scene going. Okay? Number 2, you want to add new information. To make an improvised scene keep going, you need to add new information. So he wins the lottery, and she says, "Wow, you won the lottery?" And he says, "Yes." And then she says, "What are you going to buy with it?" And he says, "I'm going to put it in the bank." And then she says, "Well, what else are you going to do with it?" "I'm going to do this." You want to keep adding information so people can keep talking and your scene can keep going. So the more information you add, the more your scene will develop. Okay? Number 3, blocking. Whenever you have a script, we have lines, and we have costumes, and we have props, and we have different places where we need to stand and where we need to walk. That is all called blocking. Be right here, stand over here, wave like this, say this. That is all blocking. Okay, that's what actors do. We plan it out and then you do it. In an improvised scene, do not use blocking. Just be free. It makes the scene more natural. Okay? So before you do an improvised scene, do not plan out, okay, you do this, I do this, you do this. Don't do that. Just kind of be free in your scene. Okay? Number 4, try not to ask questions in your scene unless you are giving more information. Okay? So for example, if we have a scene, it's a car accident scene. We have a police officer, we have the driver, and maybe the driver hits a person on the sidewalk, and the person's like this. Okay? So the police officer comes and he asks a question. Who's the driver? Driver? He asks the driver, what happened? Okay, that's okay. If the driver says, well, I was driving, and then this woman jumped in front of my car, and then I hit her. That's okay. You ask a question, you give information. Okay? But if I ask a question like, is she dead? I don't know. Right? I don't know. Then the question and the answer kind of just stops. Okay? So if you're going to ask a question, make sure you're giving some kind of answer, or then your scene stops. Okay? Number 5, play in the present. What that means is be in the moment. Be in your scene. Pretend you are in the car accident. Pretend you won the lottery. Do not worry about anybody else. Be in the moment right now. Do not worry about what other people are thinking. Do not worry if they are laughing at you. You are the character. Be in the moment. Okay, number 6, you want to establish a location. Okay, so wherever you are, you want to be aware of your surroundings. So for example, car accident scene. Person is here lying, maybe hurt on the street. We have the driver, he's in his car. We have the police officer coming, and the driver says, oh, I'm so sorry, it's raining, and the road was very slippery. Okay, so you need to remember that. When you come outside, it's raining, right? So maybe you have to wipe your glasses, or maybe you have an umbrella. You're pretending there's rain, right? Or maybe it's slippery, right? Or maybe it's a very windy day, so you need to be like, windy, all right? If someone mentions you're outside, if someone mentions it's snowing, or someone mentions the weather, pretend it's raining. Pretend it's windy. Be aware of your surroundings. Okay? Number 2, you want to be specific. So when you're talking about something, you want to use lots and lots of detail to describe your scene. This allows your character and your partner to make better choices. Okay, so for example, if I ask the driver, what happened? And he says, I crashed. That's it. Now, my turn, I need to talk. I'm like, oh, well, okay. He didn't give me a lot of information to make more dialogue. So if he says, well, it was raining, and I was texting, and then all of a sudden, someone jumped in front of my car, and I had to put the brakes, and then I crashed, right? So then the police officer can say, well, why were you texting, right? Or why weren't you paying attention, right? Or why did you hit the woman on the sidewalk, right? We can have more choices to make our scene better, okay? Number 3, in our scenes, we want to change. Whenever you change something in your scene, you have more things to talk about, okay? So I ask them some questions about the car accident. Maybe now it's starting to get a little boring. So then maybe all of a sudden, the person on the ground goes, oh, I'm alive, right? And then the driver's like, wow, she's alive. And then the police officer, wow, she's alive, right? We go from one scene where I'm asking questions to another scene where the other person is doing something else, okay? When you're changing your scene, you have more things to do. Improvise, okay? All right, and these last two are very important, okay? We have two kinds of scenes that you can do. You can do a very serious scene, or, like the video, you can do a very humorous scene, okay? First one, if you're doing a serious scene, or an emotional scene, very sad or angry scene, you want to focus on the character, okay? So if I'm talking to you, you want to focus on the person. You want to focus on the emotions, angry, sad, shy, whatever. If it's serious, okay? So, if you want to make something more dramatic, or you want to make something more sad, use some silence. Or pause, talk very slowly, right? So, we have a scene, and I'm the officer, and you're the driver, and I ask you, so, what happened? And you say, well, I was texting, and then all of a sudden, this person jumped in front of my car, and I killed her. Right? And the police officer's like, it's okay, calm down, right? We're slowing down. I'm focused on the emotion. She's very upset. She killed someone, maybe, right? So you want to pause. You want to show some emotion. Slow it down, right? Okay. And if it's a humorous scene, you want to focus on objects or actions, okay? So if you notice in the video, they're focused on the lottery ticket. They're looking at the lottery ticket. They're focused on his actions. He's all jumping up. He's jumping, excited, right? And then the girl, she sees the guy, and she starts jumping and acting, right? Okay? So if you're trying to do something funny, you want to focus on actions or objects, not so much emotion. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right, good. All right, what we're going to do is we need to get into groups. So I'm going to put you into groups of 5. I'm going to give you a number. Remember your number. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, all the ones, please go over here. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Okay? Let's go. One, two, three. Over there. Alright, here, let's pull this back out. Guys, ones. Okay. Careful. Go. Or if you want to sit at the desk, because we're going to do some writing. Let's pull out that desk. You got 5 here? 5. All right. What we're going to do, we have, when you're doing improv, you need to think about 2 things in your character. First thing is the physical, of course, right? You want to think about their posture. You want to think about their gestures. You want to think about their facial expressions, right? Second thing you want to focus on is the vocal. We're going to be talking, okay? Articulation. How well do they speak? Do they speak clearly? Okay? Projection. Are they loud? Are they quiet and shy? Pace. Do they talk really, really slow? Or do they talk really fast? And then tone, right? We practiced different tones earlier today in our activities. So there's 4 things you want to focus on in their vocals, okay? So we have 5 different characters here, okay? What I want you to do in your group, one person is going to write down all the ideas for each character, okay? So we need one person to do writing in your group, okay? So who's doing the writing? Writing? Who's the writer over here? Okay, right there. You have? Here. Okay, good. Who's the writer? You? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, for each character, you're going to describe all the physical characteristics about them. So for example, old man. We're going to write down, let's say physical, like maybe hunched over, bent back, right? Or maybe you might write down walking slow, really, really slow, right? That's a physical thing, right? Or maybe their posture is uneven. So they're walking like this, right? Writing down all the things to describe this kind of character. So if you were going to be an old person in your scene, you want to write down all the things to help you play this character. Physical, right? We have vocal, right? So maybe old people's articulation or projection is very low. They talk very with a low sound, right? They talk slowly. Their pace is slow, right? Maybe their tone is also very low, right? So we're going to write down all these words to try to describe how to act, how to do this character, okay? So we have 5 different characters. You're going to describe all the physical and all the vocal things to properly act out this person. So we have old man, old woman, 할머니, 할아버지, yeah? We have a young child. Maybe they're like 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? We have a teenager, so like a high schooler, right? 16, 17, 18, teenager. We have a businessman or a businesswoman, okay? Describe how they look, how they walk, how they talk. And then we have a hard-working factory worker, a factory worker. What is their posture? How do they talk? Okay? So as a group, you're going to talk about all the characteristics for each person. Okay? Let's go ahead and do that. Go.
실제 특징이랑 이걸 연극을 하면서 잡고 이런 거 진짜 무서워. 노인 하나도 못하면 한 명씩 여자 남자 비즈니스 많이 진짜 무동자 이거 일단 저기 설명당은 노인은 느리거나 이거 설명을 하는 게 있고 있고요. 말도 약간 느린다고 하셨거든요. 피킹까지 쭉 해서 네, 제가 적은 거고요. 네, 어떤 걸 설정하실래요? 그 원하는 거 적으시고요.
정해서 상황을 만드는 거.
네, 제가 적는 건데 그 사람은 4개 다 쓰시가 피킹은 필요 없는 게 약간 설정하시는데 일조가 느린 좀 있죠. 헷갈려서 좀 괜찮을 거 아니에요?
그러니까 이거 중에 해야 돼.
Alright, Jason. So who are we talking about first? Oman?
A는 어떤 캐릭터?
Let's start.
Okay, let's just pick one person, anybody. Who do you want to talk about?
먼저 가져가도 돼?
We have to describe all of them.
누가 우리 먼저 가져갈게. 남는 거예요?
Anything. Well, let's discuss as a group. Okay? So let's do old man. Old man, old woman. Okay? Let's talk about the physical first. How can we describe a old man, old woman?
가위바위보.
Posture, gesture, facial expressions. Okay? Go. So let's write it down.
We
난 비즈니스.
talk about
혹시 하시는 분이 있어요?
physical and
저랑 가위바위보
Whatever. Alright, let's talk about old man first. Physical.
말은 어떤
그럼 나 올드맨 있어요?
Pick it up slowly.
slowly and
Write it down. Slow.
B할 사람 가위바위보.
Alright, you might have to separate because this list might get very long. Slow. What else? Physical. About punched, curved, punched over, curved. Okay. Yeah.
협력하고 있다가 버리는 공장 지나는 공장.
Do they stand up straight?
you just
So they're a little. Is this straight, even, or not straight? Uneven. Uneven. Okay, good. Okay, keep going. What do we have? Which one are we on? Old man? Okay, we all need to discuss each character. So let's start with the old man. Let's talk about some physical stuff about old people. Just regular old man. Doesn't matter situation. We're just trying to describe their character. Okay? So physical. How can we describe an old man, old woman? Physical.
남자들이 좋은 것 같고요. 솔직히 나머지 쪽은 상관없을 것 같은데
Okay. They
나머지
what?
남녀 꽤 상관없을
Alright, let's write
텐데
that
조금
down.
남자들이
They're very slow. Yeah? Uh-huh. Slow. Good. What else? Okay. But how can we show sick? How can we show sick? So maybe some kind of gesture like this, right? Or maybe they're always going like this. Oh, my heart, my heart. Or maybe they breathe very slowly like. So we can't just write sick, we need to write some kind of gesture, right? Maybe holding heart, or maybe holding head, or maybe their eyes, they can't see, so they're like this. Right? So we need to describe these gestures or facial expressions, right? This is all physical. Okay? Let's go ahead and write those down. Discuss it.
잘하는 거지.
What other physical things do we have? Physical. So think of body, gestures, facial. Okay. So there. How did what did Squinty eyes. Small eyes. Right? That could be a gesture. Small eyes. What else? Okay, good.
남자가 신체적이 아니라
So, a gesture. Hand to the ear. Gesture, right? Hand to ear.
이거 아니야?
뭐 행동 묘사 그런 거 오늘 안 해야지. 티네이저가 써서만 우리가 표현할 때
인식이 안 좋아요?
그거 뭐 시킬지 모르겠어.
여름은 아니어도 다 성인이 다 들어있는 것 같아요. 여유로워요?
Okay, low tone. Low tone.
네, 이게 참
Articulation is not good. They're not articulating their words. They're all together.
이쪽이 진짜 똑같은데.
So low tone, aces, fast. Articulation.
쓰는 거 진짜
Yeah? Okay. Make sure you write many things, because if you need to act like this person, you need to have lots of ideas. Okay, good.
얘는 정신적으로 지치고 목적적인 전화 받고
We have to just brainstorm together. Okay.
범벅냄 이런
You have a stick?
날뛰 날뛰 릴리 러쉬 그런 거 나오니까 그 기다린 거예요.
Bent over. I can have a stick like this. I'm walking with a stick. Help me. Or I have a stick for my body, which is bent. Bent back. So imagine if you don't have a stick, if you wanted to show I have a stick, my body has bent, right? So pretend you do not have any
그나마 가장 귀여운 아 나이로 하는 거예요?
or objects, just using your hands, gestures. Okay? So pretend we don't have any backpack, gun, nothing like that. Right? We're just showing with our body.
행동을 적는 거죠.
Alright, good. The end. Expect me physically. What else? Only today and tomorrow? Only 2 days and night? Okay, this person don't have values. Just writing today. Okay, good. Yeah, okay, so vibrating the fan, maybe vibrating the right? Good. What else?
드렁크보다는 담배 스모커요.
꽃꽂은 자세가
Okay, so sometimes if they're angry,
연기하는 거 그런 거
usually I try
아 맞아 괜찮지. 날이 빠르면 행동을 어떻게 하는
진짜 제 컨설팅으로
articulation. You
연기 나오죠.
그래 잘하잖아요.
words are together.
안 틀려지 물어봤는데요. 정확하게 똑바로 솔직히 너무 잘하더라고 이게 아무리 표정이 이런 게 너도 영리가 많구나.
They have no teeth. They can't talk. Yeah, so make sure you write down everything. So if you need to play this
일단 이쪽이 그나마 강한 쪽이고 이쪽은 중간이고 이쪽이 약한 것 같은데 누인이랑 신체 특징 성격은 이쪽이 활발하고 이쪽이 이쪽도 이렇게 빡세고 이쪽은 피곤해 보이죠.
Have you done all of them? You're done? All of them? It's in Korean. Okay, this is child. Outgoing, straight, excited. Oh, this is teenager. Okay, we need more. Teenager. Let's describe teenager's physical. More. We only have 3. This is, and this is actually not. This is not a physical. Outgoing is not physical. It's just a character. So how do you show outgoing? Loud. Right? Someone who's loud is loud. Right? That's physical. Right? Or if you want to show outgoing, big smile, big eyes. Or if I'm like this. Hi, nice to meet you. Am I outgoing? Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. Right? That's gestures, facial expressions, right? Okay? So let's work on that. You can write more. Right? The more things the better. Because for your midterm, if you need to play teenager, if you have many things to help you, you would be there. Okay? Good.
일단 먼저 컴퓨터하는 역할을 네 맞아요. 이게 연습하는 게 5분 동안 하는 거예요 그거.
So teenagers smoke?
네.
Yeah? Okay, so teenagers are rebellious. They don't want to listen. So maybe they smoking, or maybe they dye their hair crazy colors. Or the girls, they pull their skirts out really short, right? They want to be sexy, right? The guys do the men
이거 남자애들
boys.
상관없다고 했으니까 이거 궁금한 거? 10cm 활기찬 사람?
Drinking soju. Or boys, they cussing, saying bad words, right? They think they're tough, right? But they're not tough, they're just little kids, right? But they want to be gangster, right? They try to be gangster, say F word, right? Okay. So those are gestures, right? Teenagers might do this a lot.
성격이랑 어울리고 하는 필수적으로 하는 건 아니면
Teenagers? Where? Really? Did you have a motorcycle? Did you have a friend who had a motorcycle? Really? His parents, they let him have a motorcycle. Where did he get the motorcycle? He stole it. He stole the motorcycle. Your friend. Did you steal a motorcycle? 5 years ago. But you never stole the motorcycle? Never. But he would give you rides everywhere for free. How about you, Max? Did you steal any motorcycles? Did you smoke in high school? Did you drink soju? Did you say bad words on the subway to everybody? No? No? Really? Really? Okay. Alright, keep going. Teenagers have this. Okay. How can we describe that in a gesture? Let's say you did not have, that's called a briefcase. If you don't have a briefcase, how can we show that in gesture? Right? So we have this to the side, holding. Right? So in the improv, we don't have a briefcase, we don't have a document case. Right? Down, open it up, papers, right? So we have like this holding. They're always holding something. Briefcase, purse. Oh, okay. Yeah? Okay. Good. We done, Anthony? Okay. Let's describe more the whole
good manners.
Okay, how do you describe rude gestures or facial expressions? You do this. Right? Or the finger, right? That's gesture. Gesture, right? Don't write rude. You need to actually show the gesture. Middle finger, stick out the tongue, maybe give bad look with the eyelid. So you need to write that. You need to describe. So you know, if you're being a teenager, you need to have lots of ideas.
영어 볼 만한 과제라고.
It's like a physical and vocal.
위라고 그런 거야. 기억력이 안 좋은 건 이해하는데. 근데 그건 기억력이 나쁜 거 아니에요?
그러니까 말투가 있고.
Right. No brain.
하면 돼. 골라서요, 골라서.
Physical is maybe like this.
임종 직전에 뭐 그런 거 없나? 하나 주고.
So eyes always moving. Eyes moving. No, ADHD. ADHD, like. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. So young children, it seems like we have ADHD. So how do we describe that? Always touching things, always pushing things, moving around. That's gestures. That's
loudly.
Yeah. Not no brains, but just curious. Okay. All right. How do we describe dirty? Facial, gesture, posture. Okay, good. Good. Go to the nose. Okay, so these are gestures. Yeah, these are gestures. Poking nose, sticky finger in the mouth. Maybe doing the yeah. Okay, let's write that down, right? So don't write down dirty, write down gestures, facial expression, physical. Show dirty. Right? If you're doing a scene and your clothes are clean, you're clean, but you need to show dirty. Right? Dirty. Okay. All right. Same thing.
나 대학원에서
대화 나 보면 어떤 애가
저녁이라고 할 거야.
그러니까 네가 영화 보고 어? 불이 붙지.
Alright, that's better. More the better. So who's that? So yeah, big guys. Big guys? Big guys? Teenagers.
그래요?
So we were teenagers a couple of years ago. What kind of gesture? So we want to show active, right? How can we show that in a physical way? What else? Maybe skipping. Right? You see two teenage girls holding hands, skipping down the street, maybe? Or maybe that's children. Teenagers or children? Teenagers. What else? They talk really fast. Yeah? Good. Fast tone.
18명, 그나마 20명 좀 한두 명이었는데 수강 쪽이 생각 그렇게 어려울 것 같아요.
Very loud. Very loud. Very loud.
자아애들이 strong voice.
Right? So they have a high pitched tone, really high tone. Right? Teenagers, especially men, right? Their voice is not deep, right? Not yet. They maybe talk like a girl, right? High pitched.
OT 때 교수님 직접 말씀하신 거는 아마 경과 없을 거라는
So,
아마 그런 품질감이 그리고 품질은 우리
all right, class. Save your papers. Do not throw them away. Next class, we're going to see each other's answers. Do not lose. Do not throw away. Okay? All right. Let me talk about your midterm really quick. So your midterm scene is in 2 weeks. Okay? Next week, all of class, we're going to practice doing improv in class the whole time, 2 hours. Okay? Our midterm is going to be improv. So what I'm going to do for your midterm, I'm going to randomly take out of a hat a scene. So maybe one of these might be your scene. Maybe. Right? Maybe you're in a car accident. Or maybe you're on a blind date. Or maybe you're a Joshi or Ajuma. You're going to the mountain to go hiking. Okay? Or maybe you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend fighting scene. Right? Or maybe you're doing like a soldier scene. Okay? For your midterm, you're not, listen. For your midterm, you're not going to know your scene until that day. So next week, we're going to practice all the scenes so we know how to do it. Your characters, maybe you might be one of these characters here, okay? So next week, you are going to practice every character. So on the day of your midterm, I'm going to pull out of a hat, and I'm going to say, okay, you are an old woman. So you have to be an old woman. Okay, you're going to be a teenager. Okay? So each group, right, class, listen please. Each group is going to have 5 people. Next week, I'm going to make your groups. Okay? And next week, you're going to practice all of these characters, and you're going to practice all of these scenes. And then on the day of your midterm, I will select, random, surprise, your scene and your character. But next week, we're going to practice all of them. So you will have lots of time to practice.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you must be prepared. So these notes that we made, they're going to help you to make a good character. Okay? All right. Your homework, if you had trouble being scared, if you had trouble being angry, make sure you're practicing these kind of emotions at home. They're going to be important for your scene. So example, if you're in a car accident, if you don't know how to do shocked, and you need to do shocked, you better learn how to do it, right? Or if you're doing a boyfriend-girlfriend fighting scene, if you need to be angry, you need to do it. Okay, so if you have trouble with some of these tones, go home, look in the mirror, spend 3 minutes, and practice. Okay? It's going to be important for your midterm. Okay? All right. Have a good night, and I'll see you. Oh, wait. Sorry. Next week we do have class. Yeah, we do have class. And it's very important that you come because we're going to practice all of these with your group members. So if you don't come, you are not going to be prepared for your midterm scene. Okay? So we do have class. Okay? All right. See you next week.
Thank you.